What is up? YouTube, how y'all doing? Check it out, man. We never talk too much about thumbnails because I'm trying to get people in the beginning to record a video, upload the video, and then start working on the title, the thumbnail, type of agreement. So in this video, we're going to talk about thumbnails. Let's check it out. Growth's got a formula most never learn. You don't need luck or talent, structure is earned. If you're ready to build and you know it's your turn, start with the 4 free videos, earn as you learn. Click on the more below to sign up. That's right, y'all. Click on the link below to sign up for our 4 free videos. And at the end of the video, man, you should sign up for a Zoom call to get some clarity on what you may think you're doing wrong. Anyway, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. Why 99% of YouTube thumbnails fail? I don't think it's that high of a 99%. Well, when people see your thumbnail, they click. They got a choice to click on things. But let's see what he got to say. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. Let's check it out.
YouTube creators are only 1 or 2 good thumbnails away from a completely different channel trajectory. And most of you guys don't realize it yet because your video could be exceptional. The title could be dialed in. The SEO could be absolutely perfect. And if the thumbnail doesn't stop the scroll, none of it matters. The click never happens, the algorithm never pushes the video, and the video just quietly dies. And that's the part that nobody wants to talk about honestly. Now, I've been on YouTube for more than 15 years now, and I've personally designed more than 500 thumbnails from scratch. And just a few months ago, I launched this channel that you're watching right now from 0, and now we're closing in on 40,000 subscribers. Side note, thank you guys, with just 37 videos. Now, a huge part of that success and that momentum comes from one thing: packaging. So by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why certain thumbnails get clicked and exactly why certain thumbnails get ignored. And I'm going to share a thumbnail tool with you guys that saved one of my most recent videos when my process completely fell apart. I only had 90 minutes left to upload a thumbnail in just a few minutes that now has over 15,000 views. So stay tuned for that. So why do 99% of thumbnails fail? It's not laziness. It's not bad design software. It's not that people don't care. Here's what I actually believe. Most people teaching thumbnail strategy here on YouTube right now don't fully understand it themselves. They know what a good thumbnail looks like, don't get me wrong, because they watch their homepage, they've seen hundreds of channels, hundreds of videos, thousands of videos, and they've absorbed those patterns over time. But they can't tell you why it works. They'll tell you, go make a better title, a better thumbnail, and they're not wrong. But they can't break down the mechanism. And because of that, unfortunately, the advice stays surface level, so the people watching those videos stay stuck. Now, what I'm about to show you in this video is the actual mechanism. See, most creators design thumbnails to describe their video, and that's the wrong job entirely. A thumbnail only has one job, to make a promise that the viewer can't walk away from. Now, every thumbnail that has ever driven massive click-through rates on any channel, any niche, at any point in YouTube's history does one or more of 5 specific things. These aren't...
Okay. Did you hear that? Did y'all hear that? He going so fast, man. I try to slow everything down for the beginner. Let's back up a little teeny bit.
Stock. Now, what I'm about to show you in this video is the actual mechanism. See, most creators design thumbnails to describe their video, and that's the wrong job entirely. A thumbnail only has one job.
Most describe their video. Don't do that. Okay, here we go. A thumbnail has one job. Check this out.
To make a promise that the viewer can't walk away from. Now,
to make a promise that the viewer cannot walk away from. See, this is the stuff that needs to slow down. How do you make your YouTube thumbnail make a promise that the person cannot walk away from? It gotta attract you first. Your thumbnail should be attraction first, and then the promise is right there. What? They can't walk away from. Yeah.
Every thumbnail that has ever driven massive click-through rates on any channel, any niche, at any point in YouTube's history does one or more of 5 specific things. These aren't here today, gone tomorrow tricks and hacks. These are psychological constants that sit underneath every trend, every style, every format that has ever worked on the platform. All right, element number 1 is curiosity. Now, the thumbnail opens up an information gap that the brain is compelled to close. Something is implied, but not explained. Think about the last time you clicked a video purely because the thumbnail made you so curious, made you feel like you were going to miss out on something if you didn't click. That wasn't accidental. That was a deliberate gap or loop engineered to trigger that exact response. Now, the second element is contrast. High visual contrast is a biological stop signal, a pattern interrupt. A video feed full of noise that you and I experience every single day. Those high contrast images literally interrupt our eye movements. And it's not just an aesthetic preference. I know that you're like, well, I don't like the way it looks. It's neurological. Your brain is hardwired to notice the thing that doesn't look like everything around it. All right, so element number 3 is emotion. A human face with a clear, readable emotion on it in a thumbnail is processed by our brain so fast, under 150 milliseconds. That's faster than we can consciously read the title of the video. Think about a thumbnail where somebody looks genuinely shocked or devastated. You felt something before you even knew what the video was about. That's the emotional trigger doing its job. Now, the 4th element is conflict. Something is unresolved. There's something at stake. There's a tension that the viewer could feel, that they feel compelled to see resolved. Conflict implies that there's a winner and a loser, a right and a wrong, a light and a dark, and the viewer wants to know which one they are. All right, so for the 5th element, we're talking about reward. The thumbnail makes an implicit deal with the viewer. If they click this, they're going to get something specific. That could be information, that could be entertainment, validation, maybe a laugh, I don't know, maybe an answer for something. The clearer that implied reward is, the higher the click-through rate's going to be. Because vague thumbnails typically get ignored, while specific promises, crystal clear imagery, that's what's going to get clicked. All right, now here's where it gets really interesting and where most thumbnail content here on YouTube completely falls short. Trust me, I've been watching this stuff for 10 plus years, and exactly why I'm making this video for you guys today. You're going to find a ton of videos out there that are listing the different styles of thumbnails that are working right now. Saw a video recently, somebody said neo-minimalism, cinematic text. They're adding like super fancy labels to super simple concepts. They're talking about dark backgrounds with time constraints. And don't get me wrong, those styles do exist. They're 100% real. And some of them might still genuinely be working today. But most of the people teaching them can't tell you why they're working. Let me give you an example. Do you know why that dark background with 59 seconds in the thumbnail or title actually works? There's conflict and reward. There's a specific implicit promise, and the time constraint makes it feel low stakes enough to click, but high stakes enough to actually matter. And here's another one. Do you know why a warped face works so well in a thumbnail? Because that pattern interrupt is an extreme form of curiosity, a huge gap. The brain sees something that's broken, askew, a little bit off, and it can't scroll past without getting its attention. Oh, and I can't move on without talking about that neo-minimalism, which is essentially just a simple, plain, clean thumbnail. Do you know why those are dominating on YouTube right now? Pure contrast. In a feed where 90% of thumbnails are overly complicated and feel like they're screaming, silence is the loudest thing in the room at times. Simple, easy to understand, clean. That's what's dominating. Every single style that works because it executes on one or more of those 5 elements.
Now, I don't know if he's going to cover this, but also it all depends on what type of niche you're in. If you're in sewing or gardening and different things like that, your thumbnail, you have to start learning how to cater your thumbnail toward whatever niche you in. Look at the thumbnails that other people are doing that's in your niche, and then start trying to explore and add these elements that he's talking about within your niche.
Style is just the delivery system at that point. The psychology is the engine behind it. Because styles change. Something that works really well today could be totally played out in 6 months when everybody else is copying them. But with that being said, these 5 elements have been true since day one on YouTube. They're still going to be true 5 years, 10 years, 15 years from now. Because I need you to understand that once you learn why these things work and how to implement them into your thumbnails, you're never going to feel like you have to chase trends again. You'll be ahead of them. So I want you to be honest. How many thumbnails have you been making trying to copy a style without understanding why it worked? Now, I want you to sit with something for a minute because I think it reframes everything we just covered. Thumbnail psychology is not new. It's not a YouTube thing. It's not even a digital thing. Think about, and I'm going to date myself here. Have you ever walked into a video rental store back in the day? I'm in my early 40s. Maybe if you're too young for that, think about scrolling Netflix. That could be more relatable right now. Every single image that you see has been deliberately engineered, designed to make you stop, consider, click, grab. I'm talking about movie posters, VHS covers back in the day, I guess Blu-rays too, magazine covers, book art, album art for music for sure. Every single one is designed with one mission. Get somebody's attention long enough to make them consider going further with that piece of art, with that piece of content, with that thing. And think about that. That craft is older than the internet. That's older than television. And the psychology behind it has never changed because human attention really has never changed aside from, our constantly shrinking attention spans. So when somebody tells you that the thumbnails don't matter, or they tell me that the thumbnails don't matter, I hear somebody that doesn't realize that they're playing a game that's been played for over 100 years. The rules have been written since before any of us were born. so you can learn and understand those rules or ignore them, act like you're better than them, and stay stuck. Now, with that being said, here's what most people get wrong about YouTube. Most people think the majority of the work is in the content itself. And I agree, on the surface, that feels like common sense. But think about any other business. Think about a plumbing company, a restaurant, a big movie studio, maybe a shoe brand like Nike or Adidas. The product itself is only a portion of what you're doing to bring it to the market, right? Oh. The packaging, the presentation, the way you put it out in front of the people. That work is just as critical as the thing itself. The content is like a cake. It needs to be exceptional. It can't taste like shit. It needs to be the best cake in the room. But the frosting, the way it's decorated, the way it's tiered, the sprinkles, the accoutrement, that's what makes people hungry before they ever had a bite. That's
Yes. What he's talking about is your packaging. Think of your title and your thumbnail as your package. That's all you have. How many views on that video can start playing a role in your packaging? Because there has been times that I clicked and I talked to people about clicking on a video because it got 10,000 views on it already, or 100,000 views on it. So 100,000 people watched it, that means it's good. So I've been researching and analyzing a lot of this stuff, man, for years. Let's keep going.
That's what makes them reach for that cake over everything else on the table. Come here. Your thumbnail is the frosting, if you didn't get that part. And nobody orders an unfrosted cake for an important event. And in this context, your video is an important event. Now, understanding the psychology is only half of it, though. There's still the execution problem here. And that's where it gets real. So let me tell you what happened to me a few days ago, because it's the most honest way I can illustrate exactly what I'm talking about here. Now, these days, to save time, I do work with a thumbnail designer on occasion, and that collaboration is pretty good usually. I'd say 7 out of 10 times I'm pretty happy with what he sends over. But those 3 or 4, or sometimes 5 times that he sends a file to me and I'm not happy with it, I bring it into Photoshop and I'm doing the final 20 to 30% to get that thumbnail to where it needs to be, which under pressure when you're paying somebody, it's really frustrating. So for my last video where I ranked more than a dozen different YouTube niches, my designer sends me a thumbnail super last minute, 2 of them, in fact, and I was disappointed with both of them, to say the least. I was 90 minutes away from this video going live on a Monday morning, and I was in a bad position because a weak thumbnail on a video that you worked hard on isn't just an aesthetics problem, and I need you guys to understand that. It quickly becomes a compounding problem for your business, for your channel. Because when your click-through rate underperforms, the algorithm reads that as low interest, and it starts pulling back on distribution, as I've talked about in other videos. All that work that you put into that video, all the hopes that you had for that video, and you watch it die in the first 48 hours. I did a video on that as well, because it failed the first impression test. You can understand all this psychology perfectly and still get burnt and have a flop if the execution falls apart in the last minute. So when I found myself in that exact situation, I turned to the tool that has genuinely become a go-to part of my thumbnail workflow. If you guys like my thumbnails, this is going to be an absolute game changer for you. I first came across this tool, 3 or 4 years ago when I was part of a mastermind cohort that was hosted by Patty Galloway. Shout out to Patty. And since then, it's become something that I rely on consistently, and where the platform is today compared to when I first found it, that is insanely impressive. You guys have probably heard of it before, but the tool is called 1 of 10. Now, here's what I want you to understand about 1 of 10, because this distinction matters, especially in today's world. It's not an AI image generator that produces random visuals that you can maybe hope look good in a YouTube thumbnail. It's an entire platform specifically built around high-performing YouTube thumbnail data. It analyzes what's actually working on the feed right now, and it generates backgrounds, compositions, and visual concepts that are already optimized for the psychology of clicking before you've added your face, your text, and your brand. And let me tell you, that matters especially right now, when the landscape of YouTube thumbnails is changing as rapidly as it is. You're not working from a guess. You're not chasing a trend that you saw somewhere. You're not doing a screenshot and bringing it into Photoshop and trying to mimic it. You're working off the actual data. And I've seen a lot of tools pop up trying to do what 1 of 10 does, and I've put them side by side. The difference is blatantly obvious. You could tell which one was built to innovate and actually help creators, and which one was built as a cheap knockoff to make a few bucks. Now, for that video that I told you about where my thumbnail designer completely dropped the ball, I used 1 of 10 to design the background for that thumbnail. I just added my face and I had a good to go thumbnail in under 10 minutes. You can see it right here. Published that with time to spare. That video now has over 15,000 views, has a 98.5% like ratio, and more than 500 comments, not to mention a very high CTA. Now, I'm not saying that 1 of 10 is the only reason that video performed. The content had to deliver on the thumbnail's promise, but the thumbnail got the click. See, that's the first battle that we have to win. And if not for 1 of 10, that video would have flopped, which would have negatively affected my channel's momentum. Now, let me show you how crazy this tool actually is. All right, guys, so I want to show you how quick and easy it is to make an A+, ready to go, high converting thumbnail directly in 1 of 10. It's going to save you a ton of time, a ton of frustration, and a ton of money depending on what you're doing right now for your thumbnails. So this is the homepage, the outlier section. There's all these different filters, so you can go through and really customize all of these different parameters for your specific likes and dislikes. This is just wide open right now. I love looking at thumbnails in different niches because then you can apply it to your niche and be unique compared to finding something that already exists in your space. There's so many great ones. All of these are outliers on these channels, which means that they're high performing thumbnails regardless of the subscriber count. So I'm going to go over to trackers. Now, if there's people in your space, competitors, people that you look up to, that you want to be like one day, that you aspire to get your channel to that size, this is where you can add channels so you can track what they're doing, see their outlier videos, and just use that as a reference point. Now, right here, same thing, bookmarks. You can go and you can save ideas. You can do all these different things throughout your experience on 1 of 10, and they're all housed right here, which I think is great. Now, if you have a hard time generating ideas, 1 of 10 is using data of all the top performing channels, so they're not guessing. And so the idea generator is going to get you on the right track quickly. Same with the title generator. As you see down here, I used this title generator for my last video where I was breaking down a bunch of different niches on YouTube. Side note, I know I missed a bunch, but I'm going to do a part 2. But this is the meat and potatoes right here. The thumbnail generator is what it's all about. Now, on my last video, on this video, I've already used this to make the thumbnail. You guys are going to see a very close iteration of this thumbnail for this video, right? And there's a bunch of different iterations that you saw popped up. So that's what I did here. But if you want to do a video, let's say, for example, I'll do a video on, YouTube productivity for planning videos, and I just hit generate. I didn't add my photo. I didn't add a reference photo, which you can do right here. You can add a reference image while this is thinking, meaning I like this thumbnail, make mine kind of look like that, right?
Okay.
Or you can add your face. The cool thing about 1 of 10 is it's connected to your channel. So it'll already go in and look at all the thumbnails. It'll look at all the images of you and reference those within its built-in proprietary AI to generate these thumbnails.
So far, this sounds pretty good. I kind of like this thing right here, even for a beginner. I think the beginner also need to learn how to use some type of tools, but how much does it cost? Let's go.
Again, I just gave it a 1-sentence thing, and we're going to see what pops up here in a second. Now, in real time, that took 22 seconds. I have a timer right over here on my screen. 22 seconds to create 4 usable thumbnails. There's 2 right now that I would be very comfortable posting on YouTube for a video on productivity as a content creator, as a YouTuber. And now just think if you get a little bit more specific. If I type, or if I click on this and I edit with AI, I could say, done in 30 minutes for text on screen. And then it does its thing. Think about that. You can go in, you could change the text, you can change images. If I wanted to, I could change the red glow and the green glow to something maybe orange and purple. And in just a matter of moments, you're going to have a secondary version. And you can go through and you can make a different thumbnail, make a tweak, have a different idea. If you don't like the dark style that you're seeing right here, it can pop over into being a light style. The greatest thing about this is you don't have to have some crazy designer background to make these things unbelievably beautiful. And in just about 10 seconds, done in 30 minutes. Guys, if you're not using 1 of 10, I don't know what you're waiting on. All right, now I've been using this tool for years as a paying customer, and I trusted enough in a real world situation that I reached out to the team at 1 of 10 and set something very special up for you guys. You could try 1 of 10 yourself for 30 days for only $1. And I'll put the link in the description box below. If thumbnails are something you're already good at, it's only going to make you faster and help you hone your craft. If there's something that are quietly killing your channel's growth, it might be the thing that finally fixes it. It's going to take care of a lot of problems that you might have been frustrated with. Now, with that being said, if you're ready to go all in on your channel, get into momentum, and stop being stuck, watch this video next. If you haven't yet, click that little subscribe button to join the channel family here. Again, link for 1 of 10 will be in the description box below. 30 days for $1. And until next time.
I'm stopping and pausing the thing. My computer is slowing down, y'all. Let's check real quick since we're here. Get your free ultimate YouTube guide. Oh man, join free YouTube masterclass. Watch Nate. Where's the link for this 1 of 10 right here? Let's see something. I'm gonna click the link and sign in affiliate extension. Pricing, here we go. That's what I want. Pricing. It's a monthly fee, $30 a month or $70 a month. And I don't recommend, that's the yearly fee. Even if you go month to month, $50 a month, heck, I'm sorry, I almost cussed. Y'all. Nope, no way in the world. I don't think you should do that. I think from a beginner's point of view, you should practice on adding one thing at a time. Recording your video, uploading it, and then title. You can do thumbnails. Half of my students not even into thumbnails yet. And we supporting each other. You're learning, you're still learning. Take your time, don't worry about the thumbnail right now. Why I say that is because YouTube is learning your channel and putting you in the algorithm. So if you got a thumbnail that people are clicking on, it's still showing you, you know what I'm saying? It's still learning who likes you and who doesn't. When people click on you, you should be telling them a story. You should talk to them. So I think it's feasible to get the people into you first before you even start working on thumbnails. Don't get me wrong, but thumbnails is right behind that. And you still don't need that to start. Let's say, okay, now we at a point where we need to start talking about thumbnails. Once you at a point to start talking about thumbnails, you need to go down your niche and look at the thumbnails, and you can still use ChatGPT. You get all these examples, what you like or whatever. Try not to make it too complicated. Got to talk to my thumbnail maker now because things are getting a little too complicated. It's getting confusing. So my suggestion is learn how to make your thumbnails, learn how to use ChatGPT to make the thumbnails, and learn how to tell ChatGPT what you want. It's free. Or in my system, I teach people to pay for ChatGPT. I think ChatGPT is either $12 a month or $24 a month. Something like that. All you need is one tool right now. Even to make your daggone thumbnail. That's what I believe. I think that you paying, I don't know, $12 a month and $24 a month on top of the $50 a month. Now you're almost close to $100 a month. And you still confused, running around trying to learn one thing at a time. Add one thing. ChatGPT. So far, I started using ChatGPT, man, and I swear to you, I can't stop using it. It done changed my life. I'm gonna get on up out of here. Y'all take it light, take it slow. Tell them Uncle Mike told you so. Peace out.